The human mind has an infinite capacity to grow. Growth and evolution are at the core of the human being. Humans are aware of many aspects of their own mental lives, their own experiences, feelings, judgments, desires, and decisions. Yet, despite having this awareness, a lot of people don't have the tools needed to explore oneself or to improve oneself. Self growth classes are not taught in school, and young people are expected to know how to live their lives and how to navigate the world and the self. Thankfully, there are a lot of bright minds who have studied human behavior and explored the human psyche and have written books on self growth. The self help genre is the most ridiculed one, and there are a lot of people who scorn the idea of it. But if we look into the classical culture of ancient Greece and Rome, we will be faced with the fact that the highest ambition of any author was to offer the reader an emotional education that could guide them towards fulfillment. The most praised thinkers, such as Plato, Aristotle, Cicero, Seneca, Plutarch, and Marcus Aurelius, all wrote self help books, whose aim was to teach us to live well. There are a lot of benefits from reading such books, some of them being the following. You interpret yourself and the world more positively. You get inspiration from other people's lives. You're motivated to rethink your perspective on life. And most importantly, you expand your mind and enhance the quality of your life. There are a lot of self-help books that I would recommend, but today I picked out 3 that have impacted my life positively and have helped me grow as a person. The first one is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It is a book that reveals the source of self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. Ever since we were born, our lives were decided for us. From a very young age, we are taught how to think, how to act, what is possible, and what isn't. Subconsciously, we make agreements with our parents and society as a whole to live our life according to their rules. Don Miguel believes that these agreements are self-limiting, and he offers another 4 agreements to follow instead. Based on ancient Toltec wisdom, the 4 agreements offer a powerful code of conduct that can help transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, happiness, love, and peace. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. If what you say means nothing, then everything you do means nothing. You must always speak with integrity and say what you mean. Avoid gossiping about others and speaking against others. Always use the power of the word towards truth and love. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. The actions of other people are not because of you. Everything others say is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. Whether you're doing good or bad, people will inevitably find something to say about you. When you become immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. Nothing is ever exactly as it seems. There's always more than what meets the eye. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can in order to avoid confusion and misunderstanding. The root of many problems is lack of communication. When you adhere to these agreements and communicate with others, you can completely transform your life. The fourth and final agreement is always do your best. Now, what the best is a relative thing. It differs from one situation to another. Always doing your best will get you further in life and you will be a happier person. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment and regret. This book is a short and quick one, consisting of around 100 pages. It is a book that anyone can read, but the real challenge comes when you have to implement these agreements into your daily life. It takes time, commitment, and a deep understanding of why these agreements are so valuable. The next book on my list talks about the art of building habits, and I think that it could help you implement the 4 agreements into your daily life. Have you ever felt like you have these big dreams and goals, yet whatever you do, you don't seem to be coming closer to accomplishing them? Or you manage to achieve a certain goal by a certain date and you don't feel as fulfilled as you thought you would? Well, the problem is not that our goals are wrong or that we don't want to change in order to achieve them. The problem is in our system. Goals are about the result that you want to achieve. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. Your life today is essentially a sum of your habits. Everything you are or are not is a result of your daily habits. Bad habits tend to repeat themselves over and over again because we don't have a good system in place. And having a good system is much more important than having a goal. Let's say your goal is to have a clean room. Well, you tidy up your room, you clean it, but it's not gonna stay that way for a long time. If you don't get rid of the bad habits that lead to you having a messy room, cleaning your room once in a while won't really have any long-lasting effects. Everything you want to accomplish starts with having good habits. In his book Atomic Habits, James Clear explains why habits are so important in our life and gives a guide on how to build good habits that will help you have a more productive and fulfilling life. There are 3 main lessons that I learned from this book that have helped me break bad habits and form good ones. Lesson 1. All habits are based on a 4-step pattern that consists of cue, craving, response, and reward. When it comes to any habit, James explains that the environment acts as an invisible hand that shapes human behavior. So the first step of a habit is having a prompt, which is usually external. A prompt or a cue is a piece of information that suggests that there is a reward to be found, like the smell of a cookie. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior because it predicts a reward. Next comes a craving. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in state that it delivers. It is the motivation to do something in order to get the reward, like taking a bite out of the delicious cookie. Then comes the response. The response is the actual habit that you perform, like actually tasting the cookie. The response delivers a reward. The reward is a satisfying feeling that you get from the change, along with the lesson whether to do it again or not, for example, whether to have another cookie or not. These 4 steps together form a neurological feedback loop, cue, craving, response, reward, that ultimately allows you to create automatic habits. This is called the habit loop. Lesson 2. To form habits, you have to make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. James provides a framework we can use to transform the 4 steps of the habit loop so that we can form good habits and get rid of the bad ones. Let's say you want to get into the habit of working out first thing in the morning. First, make it obvious. Put your workout clothes on your chair so that you will see them as soon as you wake up. Then make it attractive. If working out in good clothes makes you want to work out more often, then invest in a pair of nice leggings or sports bra or t-shirt. This way, you'll be more inclined to put them on and actually work out. The third one is to make it easy. Start with a simple workout that doesn't require equipment or that doesn't take too much time. Just start small. And the fourth and final one is to make it satisfying. Now, working out by itself will make you feel better both physically and mentally. But if you need a little push, reward yourself with something nice and small. For example, for every workout you do, put some money in a jar. And then when you've collected enough money, treat yourself with a set of new workout clothes. By doing this, you'll be more motivated to work out. Lesson 3. A habit tracker is a fun and easy way to track your habits and to stick to them. This one is pretty simple. Make a list of all the habits that you want to incorporate, write down the days of the week or the month, and then each time you perform a habit, make sure to note it down. You can do this on a piece of paper, in your journal, on your laptop, or on your phone. I personally use an app called Habit, where I keep track of 3 habits every day. I decided to go with these 3 because they are currently the most important ones for me, and tracking down anything more than 3 would be too overwhelming for me. It's really fun to be able to look at the whole month and see when I performed certain habits and when I didn't. Also, it is so satisfying when I cross out all 3 of them at the end of the day. All in all, this book has helped me a lot over the past few months, and I feel like my life is now much more organized, and every day I get to do the things that make me happy, productive, and bring me closer to the person that I want to become. There aren't many self-help books that I've read more than once, but this is a book that is so personal to me that it has become my own holy book, a book that I come back to a lot. At this point, I've read it more than 6 times back to back. You're a Badass is a book that I discovered around 2015, and it has shaped me more than any other book. It's a book that I bring up in as many conversations as I can, and a book that I have lent out to more people than I can remember. This book has taught me how to be more self-aware, how to figure out what I want in life, how to stop caring about other people's opinions, and how to focus my life on the things that make me feel happy. You're a Badass is split into 5 parts that lead you through the steps you need in order to, as the second title says, stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. The first part is how you got this way. In this part, Jen speaks about how most of our problems lie in some lame, limiting, and false subconscious beliefs that we drag around without even realizing it. Our subconscious mind contains the blueprint of our lives. It works based on all the information that it has gathered since very young age, the information that forms our beliefs. Our conscious mind thinks it's in control, but it isn't. It is in fact controlled by the beliefs that we're carrying around in our subconscious minds. Another thing that she talks about in this part is the ego, or the shadow self, the self that keeps complaining all the time. It is the part of us that leads us to making terrible decisions and destroying our lives. Jen Sincero refers to the ego as the big snooze and suggests that the big snooze operates according to our false and limiting beliefs. Our true self or higher self, on the other hand, operates according to our connection to source energy. In order to take control of our life, we must learn to embrace the higher self and kick the ego in the butt, and we also must have faith in ourselves. Part 2 is how to embrace your inner badass. Here Jen teaches us how to love ourselves more, because when we love ourselves, we cannot be bothered with the bullshit, whether it be other people's or our own. She also speaks about not caring about what anybody else thinks of you. And here's a quote that I really love. You're responsible for what you say and do. You're not responsible for whether or not people freak out about it. We also learn to figure out why we're here, what's the purpose of our life, and how to follow our mission here. Part 3 is how to tap into the mother load. Meditation is one of those things that can be simultaneously very simple and very hard. There's no right or wrong way to do it, no set amount of time and no particular rules. You just sit still and think of nothing. Jen talks about the importance of meditation, as well as the importance of positive thinking. Here, we also learn how to choose forgiveness and why we should be grateful for everything we have. Or in her words, the more consistently you stay in gratitude and focused on that which is good, the stronger your connection to source energy is. And the more quickly and effortlessly you'll be able to manifest that which is unseen into your reality. Part 4 is how to get over your BS already. Our entire experience on this planet is determined by how we choose to perceive our reality. All you have to do is to let go of everything that you're so attached to that's not serving you and manifest the reality that you really want. Life is an illusion created by your own perception, and it can be changed any moment that you choose to change it. But in order to change anything in our life, we need the motivation and determination to do so. Jen expands on the topic of procrastination and teaches us how to stop self-sabotaging and how to commit to making the changes that we really want. My favorite chapter in this part is the one about fear. Fear lives in the future. The feeling of being afraid is real, but the fear itself is all made up because it hasn't even happened yet. Most of the time when we're afraid of something, the chances of that something actually happening are pretty slim. And even though we know that, we cannot help but be afraid. But all it takes to turn the fear factor around is learning to be comfortable in the unknown instead of being terrified of it. And this is done through faith. On the other side of your fear lies your freedom. Part 5 is how to kick some ass. The only failure is quitting. Everything else is just gathering information. Or as Winston Churchill explained, success consists of going from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. In this part, we'll learn how important it is to make good decisions and stick to them, how to improve our relationship with money, and most importantly, how to surrender to the universe. Your faith in the universe must be stronger than your fear of not getting what you want. Surrendering is the part where you hand over the job to the universe. What often happens is that, regardless of our best intentions and hard work, we're trying to control our circumstances by using our limiting beliefs and old patterns. Surrendering puts us in the flow. When you believe that everything you desire already exists, you put yourself in a natural state of surrender. In conclusion, we must give ourselves the permission and the means to be who we truly are, regardless of what anybody else thinks or believes is possible. Do not deny yourself the life you truly want to live because you're afraid that you're not good enough or that you will be judged. No one will benefit from this way of thinking. Believe that what you desire is already here and available to you. And most importantly, love yourself, and anything will be possible. So that's all that I have for today. There are a lot of other books that I would love to talk about, but I will leave them for another time. I hope that you pick up one of these books or maybe even all three, because they all carry powerful lessons that will help you grow as a person and live in alignment with your values. Take care, love yourselves, and I'll see you next week.